Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on how you can edit data using DB Artisan. My name is Anil Mahadev, and I'm a Senior Solutions and Cloud Architect here at IDERA. And with me is my esteemed colleague, Tim Rohn, who will be assisting with any of the questions that you may have. A couple of housekeeping rules. This session is being recorded, and if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the Q&A box, and my colleague will read it out, and then we can go ahead and get started. Let's wait for another minute or so. I see that a lot of people are just coming in just now. So we'll start at exactly in 2 minutes. And can I just get a quick show of hands if you're able to see my screen clearly, and are you able to hear me clearly, please? Can I get a quick show of hands if you're able to hear me loud and clear and see my screen? Okay, excellent. All right, we'll just give it another minute here and then we can get started. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. I'll just move this here. So who are we? IDERA is a leading database application lifecycle tools company, and we have been in the industry for quite a long time, and we look at how IT doesn't run on the network, it runs on the data and the databases that power your business. That's why we design our products with the database as the nucleus of your IT universe. So what are some of the lifecycle application tools that we're talking about? So today we're talking about a product called DB Artisan, which is part of our DB PowerStudio product line, and is one of the main tools that the majority of DBAs use. Nearly 90% of application issues are database related. So let's say that you have an application that says, is a web application that's connected to a database, and you want to go ahead and find out what's happening or what's causing the issue. Immediately, the application developer says, it's the database. Then the DBA says, no, it's the application code. So this kind of tug of war we've seen from a long time, but let's all come to the table and seek a cooperation. And that's where some of our tools provide the best of breed areas in that regard. Our value proposition is all about designing, developing, securing, monitoring, and improving the business needs. So with regard to designing, we're talking about building enterprise data models. Then we try to develop high quality platform code that will help you to meet those business demands, build, secure, and by utilizing compliance-based solutions, we have that. And we also have the ability to give comprehensive monitoring solutions for you as well. And by that, we again try to improve based on that, and we maintain that cycle. Tim, can you please just confirm that you're able to see the slides and there's no delay, please?
Yeah, everything seems fine now.
Excellent. Thank you, Tim. So now let's take a look about IDERA solutions in terms of the data management, database design and development, and infrastructure. We'll focus today on the database management part, which will cover database administration through DB Artisan. The database design and development comprises of building high performance SQL. Then the infrastructure comes with cloud-based IT infrastructure monitoring and optimization, and cloud-based performance monitoring and end-to-end application monitoring. In the next slide, we'll see our portfolio, where we're talking about some of all of these products that are in the various categories. So for example, if you look at performance monitoring, we have all of the products mentioned there. And one of the most popular ones are DB Optimizer for SQL tuning, then Precise for Oracle for your Oracle database monitoring. Then you have security and compliance. That's where you can look at secure, SQL Secure and Compliance Manager. And you also have the ability to look at all of the backup and administration areas. Next, under design and architecture, we have Studio Data Architect. We have our Enterprise Team Edition. Then for the development, we have the DB Change Manager and Rapid SQL here. And for IT management, we have Uptime Infrastructure Monitor as well. So now let's move on to the demo. So let me just go ahead and share my screen here. And Tim, can you confirm that you're able to see my DB Artisan
Yep,
thing?
everything's good.
Perfect, thank you. So now here on the left-hand side is where we can actually go ahead and check out all of our databases. So here you can see I'm connected to a Oracle database. And here I have a couple of schemas. So here I have a Studio schema. And then here under this, I have a couple of tables that I have. And what's really cool about this is actually you can look at everything from an instance level. So for example, here, if I go into the disk groups, if there are any disk groups, you can see that. You can see which edition I'm running. We can also look at the patches if there's anything. You can look at the configuration of that. Then here you can see I have all this connected with all of these contexts. We have the resource manager, consumer groups, etc. And here you can look at all of the control files that I put in, all of the data files, and we have this nice little graphic that showcases this. Then we have the directories, redo log groups, rollback segments, and finally table spaces. So here you can see we have all of these, and at any point, if you want to go ahead and create a table space, you can go ahead and do so here. Next, you can choose whether if it's a big file, table space, or just a regular one, a permanent, undo, or temporary, whether you want it to be offline or online, whether if you would like to have compression enabled. This depends upon your edition. And then also you can go ahead and choose the memory option here and extent management. And the default block size here, you can choose which one you want. So right now, if I uncheck this, I can now choose a custom block size that I would like. Next, let's go to the security area. And here you can see we have the groups of public. We have roles. So here, as you know, having a role is very important as that can inherit some of the permissions that a user can have. So here, for example, if I look at the Anil username, I can go ahead and hit open. And here you can look at the schema on where it is and what permissions Anil has right now. Then you can look at the quota here of this user, and I can choose whether I want unlimited on this and set it on that, or I can just choose a specific table space, and there you go. I can set that there. Next, I can set the objects to look at what all the objects are available under the Anil schema. Nothing is there. And again, you can see if we have object permissions or system level permissions, and you can look at the DDL view. So that's how it is. Now you can also go ahead and extract this. You can extract the user. You can see we can actually go ahead and look at this. So let me just maximize this a little bit. So now I can see that this is what the script it generated. Next, let's go and talk about how we can actually go ahead and edit some of this data. So let me go and scroll down here. And here I can just go and choose tables under the asset schema. And let's say I wanted to just take a look at one of these tables. So I've go ahead and do a select star from. So here you can see I have the benefit of leveraging this to my advantage. So I can just do this here, and then I can just say where, It's going to give me a nice pop-up here in just a second. It just depends on the connectivity. So here I'm using the Oracle Cloud. So where country name like, can do a high percentage. Run this. And there we go. So now we have India, Ireland, and Italy. So we got that. So we can have all of those in place. Next, what we can do is we can also go ahead and check out how we can print out these result sets, right? So let's go ahead and do another select star from. Now you'll notice that it's all in a grid, right? So let's say I wanted to go ahead and put it as a HTML. See, you can now view this here in this way. Next, you can also view this in ASCII format. And again, just depending upon where you want to maximize it, you can go ahead and do so. So now if I were to go ahead and maximize this with where country, go ahead and launch it here. There we go. See, here you can see we have all of this. There we go. Next, what we'll do is we'll showcase how you can actually go ahead and generate insert statements from here. So before I do that, let me click on the edit data here. And so here I'll just put whichever is the unique name for an index here. And here you can actually go ahead and add based on live or in a batch. You can do that here. So now it's being in edited mode, so I can double click on it and make a change here if I wanted to. And based on that, I can go ahead and hit live. And once I make a change, it's going to go ahead and save the changes. Now, let me show you how you can actually go ahead and generate insert statements. So let's say I wanted to just generate a test system, and I can go ahead and based on the filtering of the data, I can actually go ahead and hit OK here. And voila, just like that, I have all of my insert statements. Now, these are very useful if you're working with sample data. Like you don't want the entire table, but you just want to work with a subset. This is a great way of doing so and sharing this with your team. The next thing I wanted to show you folks is how you can actually go ahead and build a query here. Because sometimes when you want to access data, you want to build a query according to your needs. So here we have our query builder. So the query builder is going to be launching here just shortly. There we go. So now you can see I can go ahead and add a couple of these. Just right click and just say add. It's just connecting to the cloud here in just a sec. And then once it's done, you'll get those three tables, and we can go ahead and create a join from there and start building our query. And there we go. So now if I just move this here, so data types, then I can just do a auto layout and also try to do an auto join. So here you can see if it's matching, you can go ahead and drag and drop it, but I like to do it this way. So what we can do is we can go from here, a promo ID, and drag it to promo ID here. You have that, and then you can also go ahead and do country ID. There you go. So then you can do country ID with one of these here. There you go, country ID. And then here, if I do promo ID again, there you go. So now that you can see we've built this, here you can see at the bottom, we're able to generate that SQL query. So now all I got to do is just copy this, and then go into one of my iSQL editors, paste it here, just format the syntax, everything looks good. You can also go ahead and check the syntax, everything looks good. Go ahead and run this, and there we go. There's our query. Now, what we also would like to show you today is to also show you the value of how DB Artisan makes it easy for you to actually go ahead and extract information. So here, if I go ahead and extract information on the promotions table, you'll see that it's gone ahead and extracted that for us. And here you can just go ahead and format the SQL. And here you can see this is how it is. So now I can take this and I can copy it onto another database, and I can generate the objects. So we have a lot of options there. And of course, here in the utilities panel, you also have a schema extraction, schema migration. So it can be from one database to another. So here you can actually just move, let's say, from one database here to the target. And then here you want to look at the schemas. Here, if I want to look at, let's say, this workspace, then here I'll just choose tables. Here I can expand what I'm looking for. There you go. And do any of these. And I can choose if I want to migrate from this server to that server. That's it. So it's that easy. Next, what I would like to demonstrate is the ability for you to look at some of the DBMS specific features for Oracle here. And if you go to the browse section, you can look at all of these in one quick area. See that? Everything is accessible so easily using the browse menu. And the utilities menu, you obviously have the database monitor that gives you access to what process is going on right now. And it tells you which program is running. See that? It's giving you all that metadata info right here, which is pretty nice. Then you can also look at the session right now. So this again for a DBA is very, very important. And this is one of the coolest here that you can see. So here you can actually go ahead and zoom in. And you can also just look at it from an iSQL window here immediately. Again, productivity at its best. This is where DB Artisan shines. So again, if you wanted to create a base plan or an actual query plan, you can actually do that. Execute this. And here's your query plan. Then you can also choose based on tree. There you go, see? And if you want it as a DBMS explain plan, there you go. If you want it as a graph, there you go. You can take a look at that as well. So this was what I wanted to cover today. And what we can do now is I would like to, let me go into here. So for example, here's a report that I generated, but for you folks to actually go ahead and get a copy of DB Artisan today, I'm just going to walk you through the website here before we conclude. The first thing is you'll go to IDERA.com, then you'll go to products, and then you'll go under the DB PowerStudio. You'll click on that. And under this, you can scroll down. You can start for free. You can get the entire tool set. And or if you would like to download individual products, we highly encourage you to choose one of these. So here you'll be choosing DB Artisan, and it'll take you straight to the DB Artisan page. And you can go ahead and request a personalized demo. We have tech specs, everything. All this is there. Okay. Well, we really appreciate the time you spent with us today, and we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. And with that, it is Tim and Anil signing off, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for attending.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, yeah, we're done. Sorry, Denise. Send that question, Denise.
Yeah, what's the question? What's the question?
Can you please go over the insert again real quick? How you generated
Oh,
the
sure.
inserts?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure.
Sure thing. Sure thing. So here, if you look at one of the objects, so one of the tables, so we have the tables, right? So what I can do is I can highlight them. So I'm just gonna hold shift, or actually I can just highlight them like this. Yeah, and then I can right click and I can say generative statements. And that's gonna go ahead and give okay and yes. There you go. Did that answer your question, please? Okay.
I
Well,
think so. I think so.
awesome.
If you
Okay.
guys have any more questions, or if you need to see the product or get a demo or those kinds of things, make sure you contact your sales rep at IDERA.
Sales
And
at idera.com. Yep.
Yep. And thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.